Hey, I'm Noah.
Hey, I'm Tim.
And this is our ongoing comic strip AP of Dogs in the Vineyard.
I am playing Sister Clementine again. This is our follow-up from the last episode.
Yep, we're in New Hope and Hooper. The conflict between those two towns that we saw in episode 1 and 2 kind of coming to a head.
It's the tale of two towns that is not going to end well.
Yeah, so we don't have anything particular rules-wise, but we thought, if you ever have any questions for us, we'd be happy to answer them kind of in these intros. So you can find us on G+, through the Gauntlet, or through the Gauntlet community webpage, gauntlet-rpg.com.
Awesome. Hope to hear from you.
Yeah, same. All right, let's jump into it.
Let's do it. It's high noon in the fledgling community of New Hope. I'm atop my horse with my brother Edwin at my side. We just came from the town without a steward, Hooper. And when we arrived at New Hope, we found, Brother Zachary, who seems to be calling the shots here. It's a veritable posse, he and his men standing in our way, blocking entry into New Hope. I see Zachary staring daggers at Edwin. I know those two have bad blood. My name's Sister Clementine, and I'm a dog.
Okay, so, high noon.
Mm-hmm.
Bright, sunny day, but we hear the hammers of construction behind us. We see, just the church that's already been built. And then, some new buildings going up as well. They're working on a main street. But these guys aren't going to let you by.
Yeah. Brother Zachary, I bear no ill will. I come here as the steward of Hooper, of any other towns without a steward. I'm the authority of that town, and I come here with no ill will.
One of the men spit, and there's kind of a long pause. And Zachary's like, "So you're the new steward of Hooper?"
Closest to it. My brother's on his deathbed. His wife is beside herself. There's no authority there left, and it's a town that's going to fail. So I come here with a question.
To apologize?
With a question and a request.
Seems like you bet on the wrong horse.
Now, Zachary, I understand you feel personally slighted, and you have what looks to be a beautiful town here. I know you and my brother have some sortings out due, but a simple question, a simple request, I don't need to come any closer into this town after that. Is that permissible?
Let's hear it.
Is there any injustice in this town being done toward Hooper? Because they seem to think otherwise, and I take no side on the issue.
He just folds his arm. He's like, "No injustice." And he's stony-faced.
Right. Well, then what do you want from the town of Hooper if they were to think that you are doing misdeeds on their part? Sister Edith talks about some hexes or curses or apparitions, and that's crazy talk, but...
Sister Edith. You picked her. You picked her to run that town. Well, she's running it right into the ground. Now, we've gone back to get some of our own belongings after she banned us, but, we've got the law on our side now.
If you intend to not be a part of the stewardship of the watchdogs of the King of Life, then enter Hooper with me at your side as someone in a stewardship of the King of Life. I will see that you get your belongings, and if Sister Edith stands in the way, I have the authority to shoot her down where she stands. It's as simple as that, Zachary.
We still follow the King of Life here, though we don't have any use for you dogs in New Hope. If we need to get our stuff, we've got our own law now.
Territorial authority?
That's right.
They'll give you taxes, but they're not going to give you morals or virtues. You can choose to not be a part of the stewardship, but you're just sheep in the wild.
And he kind of sits upright and yells. He's like, "Morals? Morals? Says the woman who kicked me out of my town with the man who killed my brother, who destroyed my town. You're gonna come here and talk morals? No, dogs, you are not wanted here.
Well, if you decide to step foot in Hooper to take care of unresolved business, you will not do it without me by your side. So I will be waiting until you decide to resolve this unfinished business, brother. So what's at stake is, will Brother Zachary, with his men, resolve his unfinished business in Hooper on my terms? Brother Zachary, when you come to Hooper for your belongings, you will do so with me and my brother at your side, and not the territorial authority.
Sister Clementine, you got one big pair of stones on you. You dogs and your orders. I don't think you're in the position to order me to do anything. We can resolve this, but not the way you say. Me and the territorial authority will come night after next. We'll get all our stuff all at once and be done with it.
I stutter. Stones? You're speaking to a dog here, brother. You'll invite the territorial authority into a town that is the stewardship of the dogs under these conditions? Boy, you're asking for a shootout if you do that. Now, Zachary, you may not know it, but when I shoot, I do not miss. And so if you're inviting a shootout when the territorial authority arrive, expect those consequences.
He whistles.
Okay.
And he looks at one of his men and he goes, go get Van Lee. One guy leaves and, Zachary's just like, those are some mighty big words, I think. Maybe if you're going to threaten the territorial authority, well, maybe they should be here. And you see these two riders come up and they're dressed like the territorial authority. Wool gray. It's way too hot for wool right now. They have the kind of it's like a cowboy hat, but it's only curled on one side.
Okay.
And I think one of them even has a sword. But they also have guns. Mm. And Zachary says, Van Lee, this is a watchdog named Sister Clementine and her brother Edwin, who killed mine. Now, she's here saying she wants to get in a shootout with the territorial authority, and I figured you'd want to hear that too.
Well, there's no easy way out of this. I carefully unclasp my coat. It's a wheat-colored, austere, simple coat. And I fold it slowly while talking, and I say, a dog does not deserve a coat like this unless she is good to her word. Now, I did not say there would be any undue violence, simply that I am the authority of the stewardship of Hooper. So when you arrive, it will be done peacefully, and your conflict is resolved on the terms of the authority of me. So as a dog, I give you this coat, and I drop it in the dirt in front of me, that hot-baked dirt. And I say, when you have finished your business, without any undue violence against the territorial authority or yourself from the dog standing here today, you may give me that coat back, because you'll see that I deserve it, brother.
Van Lee whisper into Zachary's ear, and then you see Zachary shaking his head no. And then Zachary says, I know what that coat means. I believe you. Territorial authority will stay here, and we'll settle this peaceful act.
We'll see you the night after next, brother.
But make sure I don't see Edwin.
I nod to Edwin, and before Edwin can respond with some smart
and he is
retort,
smirking.
I pull at his rein so that we can ride away.
Okay.
So I ride back to Hooper with a heavy heart. Well, my cousin, he's mighty ill. He used to be the steward, but no more. That man is dying. So I spend the next day with him and my brother at my side. And when the sun sets that following day, I instruct Edwin that you are not to leave this church. If Zachary catches even a peep of you, that it will incite unnecessary bloodshed, that this will be simple and orderly and fast. Haven't seen much of Sister Edith this last day, but the last thing I do is I draw the shutters of that church when the sun's finally gone down, and I sit out on the stoop, my horse saddled up nearby, and I look off to the distance to New Hope, and I wait for riders to appear.
Right at dusk, basically, Zachary rides up, and he has probably, like 6 men with him. And so about half of them have guns, just in case, but they're like tied to their horses. They don't look like they're coming for violence. And they brought a wagon too. He needs people to load up stuff. And he comes up and he rides up to you with your cloak. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he just sits silently next to you on his horse as his men start clearing out a couple of the houses of, their furniture and big stuff that's been left behind that Sister Edith hasn't allowed to take back to New Hope. And so nothing happens. They load up the stuff, and as they're getting ready to go, Zachary says, "Glad we could do this peaceful. I'm still a faithful man, but what you dogs did to me and mine, well, just wasn't right. We're going to follow the faith, but it's a new age. We don't need policing the way you guys have been policing, and New Hope's, it's a territorial authority town now." And he hands you back your cloak.
By my authority as a watchdog, I deem that New Hope is a stewardship unto its own. Now, I was tasked with bringing these 2 towns together, but with the King of Life's hand and split a twain, well, only he can bring back together again. Thank you much, Brother Zachary.
Yeah, and he starts to ride off. And yeah, you're probably just watching him and his men, and they've got a wagon, and Zachary's at the back, and he nods to you and turns around, and at that moment there's a crack in the air as a gunshot is fired, and we see Zachary slump forward onto his horse. You see the muzzle of a rifle sticking out from one of those church windows where your brother and Sister Edith were.
Right. I stand up, I scream, and I yell, "Halt!" I'm terrified about what is going to happen. I look to the men, I look to the church. I don't know one thing from another right now. What are the men doing?
Well, I think Zachary's men, they actually just ride fast. They're not looking to get ambushed in a firefight, especially with a wagon.
Okay.
They're not well armed, so they ride off.
Okay.
And
I turn around and kick open the door. Who's holding a gun?
It's your brother Edwin holding a gun. And he just smirks at you.
Hi, this is Jason from The Gauntlet. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have many other Comic Strip AP shows available, each organized in their own sequential playlist for easy listening. Just go to youtube.com and search for Gauntlet RPG.
You're talking to a dog here, man. No, not man. No, brother. That was too, surfer man. Man. Zachary, Zach.
Hey, come on, buddy.